Okay, so a few of you have been asking me about how I got the values from uh, this example, and this is section 6, example 3 um, of the lesson, and I just wanted to make a quick video of how you actually go through these calculations on a calculator. Actually a variety of ways that you could theoretically do this. It is kind of it's for a lot of you this might just be pretty simple, but it can be a little bit confusing because it's almost kind of bedmuzzy. When I say bedmuzzy, I'm talking about bedmuz, um, with the exception of how we have to use trig now. So it's not too bad. Let me try to walk you guys through it here. Okay, so the first one we have 1.75 pi. So we turn our calculator on. That's the first step. Second mode, and then that brings us up to the screen here. So this is just your general screen for if you're using a TI-83 or TI-84. It doesn't really matter what type of calculator you're using here. The first thing is you kind of want to treat that inside part there, that y equals 2 sine 3x minus pi. And we're just trying to find these coordinates. So the coordinates that I have here, oops, that first one's supposed to be 1.57. Just let me change that. 57. There we go, 1.757 pi. And I'm just going to go through these and show you how to do each coordinate. And there's a variety of ways, so maybe I'll do a couple of them a little differently. Okay, so for the first one here, you could do that center part there. You can go 3 bracket 1.57. You hit the pi button. So on this calculator, I have to hit second and the exponent button. And it brings me to it. Minus pi bracket. Now that gives me 5.372. So what I can do next is I can do sine of that. First off, I'm going to hit mode and make sure that I'm on radians, which I am. So now I can go back, and what I can do now is I can hit sine of 5.37, 2, 1, 2, etc. Enter. Now the next step is we found that we're going to multiply it by 2 and then add 1. And we get negative 0.580. So I'm just going to enter that value here. And like so. That's the first way of going about that. Another way is just to directly enter the entire thing. So in order to do that, I can just go, okay, 2 sine bracket. Oops, it already creates a bracket for me. I don't have to do that first bracket there. Something like that. 3 bracket 1.67 pi minus pi. Close out both those brackets, plus 1. And I get 1.0628. Or 1.063 is the answer that I put down on the board, but like so. And it's basically just that simple at this point here. Okay, and for those of you who actually are using a TI-83, I'm going to show you a dirty little trick here. If you hit second enter, it brings up the same thing as you did in your last equation. And I just want to change that to 1.77. So just go over here and I just type in 1.77. And now I can click enter. It brings me to 2.65. 4. So I just type that in. And hopefully that makes some sense. So it's going to depend on the calculator that you're using. But there's one last thing that I really have to emphasize, and I can't emphasize this enough. You have to make sure that your calculator is on radians. If your calculator is not on radians, there's no way that you're going to get the right answer. I can tell you that right from the get-go. So that's basically how we work through that. If you're still struggling with that, feel free to ask any questions in this thread. I just like to use this calculator because it's the one calculator that I figured out how to put it into videos, and that way you can see the buttons I'm hitting when I take my mouse over them, which is kind of a nice advantage. Actually, I guess you can't, but um, does it make it a little picture when I hit it? Yeah, it does. Okay, so you can at least see that part. Um, but that's kind of the key, is that you can now visually see it. So if you have any questions, just ask them in this thread, and I'll do what I can to help. All right, thanks.